All right, boxers, you both received your instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands, protect yourself a good time. Let's touch gloves, have a good clean fight.
Jim, I don't know anybody who even thinks they know what's going to happen in these fights tonight. We're just going to have to wait a few seconds more.
Yeah, you're right. There are any number of scenarios you can pick for this fight. Now, Sanders, after having knocked out Al Cole in the first minute and a half of his last fight on February 19, and with all that inactivity, I expect him to try to start fast, Emmanuel.
Well, I definitely think that Sanders is the most skillful and faster between the two fighters. The thing is, a lot of guys who are used to fighting in their hometown, home countries, become a little bit unorganized and uncomfortable when they fight in different settings, such as him fighting here instead of fighting in South Africa. The fight's going to be interesting in more reasons than one. First of all, I don't like the extra weight that Hasim has picked up. I think it's not that good for him at his height. And if that be the case, I think the speed factor could be a big factor for him.
That's nothing.
Randy Cotton ruling a slip.
Yeah.
Corrie Sanders went down early.
But I think Corrie is a very good technical fighter. Has a lot of speed. And if he feels very comfortable and relaxed in this setting right here, he could be very difficult for Hasim.
Of course, as you see, Sanders is a southpaw, and you've seen Rahman starting out trying to mount his attack behind the right-hand lead. That's a change for him. In the past, Rahman has been effective working off the jab. Now he backs Sanders into a corner and tries his hand-in fighting.
Well, the fact that Sanders is permitted to fight inside, but he seems to have been in control of everything. I just think the hand speed of Sanders is going to be a big factor.
Sanders lands a short left hand, seems to wobble Rahman a bit. Rahman fighting out of the corner. Corrie Sanders with his hands down, very relaxed in the early going against Hasim Rahman.
You know, we must remember that Rahman's last two major fights he lost by knockout, and they were really some powerful knockouts. He was hurt very seriously with Tua, and also the fight when he was knocked out by Oleg Maskaev. So, you know, I don't know what effect that may have on him in addition to the extra weight.
Yeah, he got launched by a right hand and came all the way through the ring ropes and landed on his head on concrete. You wonder, just the psychological hangover from that experience is a question mark.
Could be a big factor.
Rahman trying the 1-2 there. Sanders easily blocking the jab with his right hand. Rahman's going to have to resist the natural instinct to work off the left jab constantly against Sanders. There he goes, the left hook to the body, and Sanders fires a counter in return.
Sanders' speed seems to be a big factor in this fight at this point in time. And I think the fact that Rahman seemed to have slowed down even more so. I think the weight that he's gained, which he gained primarily from what I understand from lifting weights, is not healthy that much for his height.
Sanders looks a little softer around the belly, particularly compared to Rahman, but there's a hard left hand, and obviously softness around the belly does nothing to slow Corrie Sanders. Remarkable hand speed for such a big man.
Here, stuck it in. Now you got the little first round jitteries out, you know what I mean? Start jabbing them twice. Hands up when you jab.
Let's go to work.
How you feel? Good. He's only trying to steer you on shots, that's all. Shut your mouth. Okay.
The left hand followed by that right hand by Rahman.
CompuBox numbers in round number 1. Sanders 15 out of 60. Rahman 15 out of 46. Most of the connections were power punches. In previous fights we watched on tape, Corrie Sanders' corner, trainer Harold Volbrecht spoke to him in English. Thus, no Afrikaans interpreter. We were taken by surprise when they spoke Afrikaans in the corner at the end of round 1.
Rockman has been primarily known throughout his career mostly as a right-hand puncher, which is good when you're fighting a southpaw, particularly because that's your best punch. And if he can land his right hand, he can possibly turn the fight around. But the fact that neither one of them are really effectively working with their jabs too much, that are landing, they're just using it as more of a pawing-type punch, which means that the speed element is going to be a big factor for Sanders, and the power punch, I think, primarily is going to be going for Rockman. And it's interesting, too, that Rockman has been busier professional than Sanders, which, looking at his record, is really interesting that he has been very inactive. But the amateur career of Sanders was so much more extensive than that of Rockman, which, to my knowledge, didn't have much of an amateur career.
And there you see the action as Rockman landed a big right-hand counter after Sanders landed a left hand. Now Sanders trying to fire his left hand through Rockman's guard, and they trade punches in the corner. Corrie Sanders looking to hit a double or a triple, or maybe even a home run.
Okay. This is turning out to be a good fight here. Both guys are getting hit.
I think Sanders thinks he has Rockman in trouble.
Well, I think the fact that Rockman is laying in the ropes and going into a defensive mode is pretty much luring Sanders into believing that he hasn't hurt. But the biggest thing is, to me, still is the speed and the extra weight that Rockman has picked up, which I don't think is going to help him.
And you saw Rockman overcommit on a right hand, and Sanders was able to pop him with a quick left. That drove Rockman back into the ropes. Rockman is having to reach from way back with the right hand, and Corrie Sanders is stepping up inside and taking advantage of those counter opportunities.
Yes, he is. And at this stage here,
there it was again.
Sanders is slowed down his footwork, and his speed is up from his hands, but not from his foot anymore. And as a result, I think this fight's going to turn out to be a slugfest.
Well, if Rockman overcommits to one more right hand and Sanders can time the left-right, we'll find out if Rock can take his punch.
Stop punch.
And there it is again, and this time Rockman's in trouble. Sanders pounding the left hand through the guard. Rockman wobbles back into the corner. Round two's about to come to a close. Not a second too soon for Hasim Rahman.
This is turning out to be an exciting heavyweight fight.
Rahman's new trainer, Adrian Davis, hurling him into the corner.
Kick your legs out. Kick your leg back. Give me some water. Give me the grease. Suck it in. And this run your box up, okay? You keep your hands up. You can only hit you with your hands down. Suck it in.
Get your hands down.
Suck it in. Give me some.
Give me the water. Give me the mouthpiece.
Beautiful.
When you concentrate me, Corey, okay? You hit him when he bag. That's fun. Hold the pass.
Brakpan impressively came back from a short left hook with a right hand there. He is still rather fresh. Remember that when he suffered the knockouts, it was in late rounds where his stamina had been tested. But we're looking at Corrie Sanders here, who loves to go big game hunting in South Africa, and he is going big game hunting right here in Atlantic City tonight.
Wouldn't it be fascinating to see Rahman fall behind early and win a fight by outlasting his opponent, as appears might have to be the case here. In round two, Corrie Sanders was able to get off 76 punches to only 48 for Hasim Rahman. So Sanders has been the more active fighter in the first two rounds.
And also, if you notice, at the conclusion of a punch, whenever Rahman throws a punch, if he misses it, he falls off balance. Very much because of the excessive weight, I think. And Sanders seems to be a little bit sharp and more crispier with his footwork.
Now Sanders appears to be trying to get a little bit of rest in the first minute of round three, having thrown nearly 140 punches in the first two rounds. And Rahman has a chance to take advantage, and does with a right-hand lead.
Rahman is gambling everything on his right-hand lead, because that's his breadwinner. It has been throughout his career, but particularly in this fight here. He's not concentrating on his left hook or his jab at all. He's dependent entirely on one right hand.
This is a power punch fight, folks. It's going to be Hasim Rahman's right hand against Corrie Sanders' left hand, and somebody's going to win this fight off their back foot.
And I think it's going to be pretty certain, too.
Body shot by Rahman.
It seems that Sanders is relaxed and he's only watching Rahman's right hand. If Rahman would come back with a left hook, I think he would have a lot more going for him. But Sanders is watching only the right hand of Rahman right now. And I think what he's really dependent on is making Rahman miss a right hand and then trying to counter with the left.
Neither man has gone to the body much. Rahman is obviously thinking about it in this round. Some body punching now.
Oh,
set up.
That was it. He made it miss the left, right hand, and he countered with the left.
Absolutely. He timed it right that time. So there's the first knockdown of the fight as Rahman goes down and complains to referee Eddie Cotton that it shouldn't have been ruled a knockdown.
And he is wrong, of course, because the ropes held him up.
It was an explosive left hand off the missed right. Now Sanders tries to finish up with 30 seconds to go in the round and goes down himself on a counter right hand.
Yeah.
4, 5.
I think he's stunned as much as being hurt because he didn't see the punch. He was in the process of trying to finish off Rahman.
I don't know when I've seen a fighter walk to his corner and go down to his knee to rest. Bell sounded too early. Round hasn't ended. Oh, that wasn't the official bell. Somebody else sounded a bell of some sort. Well, that was confusing, but the fighters got through it okay, and what a round.
Pretty much as we expected.
You know you're through, you just let it go. Just let it go.
Breathe in good.
Now once you get your win, suck it in. This guy ain't got it. Soon you hit the head, you're going to go. Come on, suck it in. Give him some work on the back of his head. Come on.
Corrie, neem dit op gaan staan en treden, alsjeblieft.
As you keep turning him, stay away from his right hand.
Relax, box op spinnige jab. You see that?
That's the left right there. Coming in. Perfectly timed left hook by Sanders. And the ropes clearly holding him up. Sanders getting cocky here, trying to finish it. Leaves himself open. Rahman, to his credit, saw it and shot his right through.
So both men were down in the third. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, you wonder if Sanders has used himself up because of all his activity. He looks a little bit wobbly right at this moment.
And you wonder if Sanders suffers from ring rust at this point. All the years of inactivity, so many short fights. And now he catches Rahman again with the left. And Rahman tries to catch him with the right. This is just going to be an old-fashioned slugfest from here on in. And they almost both went down.
Yeah, but when Rahman held on to the ropes to break his fall.
6. Sanders looking confused now as he looks at his corner to Harold Bulbrecht. Long way to go in this round. Corrie Sanders' hands are down. He may be done in.
Rahman is looking for the big right hand. And every time he throws a right hand, Sanders tries to counter with his left. And when Sanders gets caught is when he's going in, being aggressive. He never gets hit too much when he's in a counter-punching mode.
Sanders with one more glance over to his corner as though there's something that Bulbrecht can tell him that'll help him out of this mess. Sanders has been down twice. Rahman's been down once.
Well, they've seen a lot of stuff on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. I don't know the last time they saw something like this.
I know. Derek Jefferson against Maurice Harris last November 6th. Same kind of fight. Boxing after dark, heavyweight fireworks. Sanders looks like he's in another world, but Rahman hasn't been able to take advantage in the last minute.
Rahman is looking to throw his right hand and try to hit it, and Sanders is trying to make him throw the right hand and trying to counter with the left. There it is again. Every time he makes him throw the right, he tries to counter.
1 body shot, 2 body shots, 3 body shots. One of them was low. Sanders looks utterly done in. Loses his footwork for a moment.
Sanders has made it known that his second biggest love is golf, and maybe it might become his biggest love after this because it's totally just the opposite of what he's in tonight. Come on.
They trade shots again.
Blood coming from both of their noses in this fight. Why not?
Only now is Corrie Sanders beginning to get his legs back from the knockdown early in the round. But Hasim Rahman was never able to find the right finishing opportunity for 2 minutes there while Sanders wandered around in a daze.
If Rahman would use his jab a little bit more effective, I think he would do a lot better. It would set up better for his right hand.
Wild left hand misses by Sanders, and they'll go to another round.
He's nothing. The boy's dead tired. You got him back up. Back up with what? Okay, let's do this. One strong jab.
We almost had
jab and then a right hand.
a double knockdown in that round. Just watch as Rahman throws the right hand. He catches him. But held himself up with that left hand, which was fortunate because it gave him a 2-point round.
I thought that's what might happen in the second fight tonight. I actually said in one of our pre-fight promos on the air that Maskaev and Jefferson might knock each other out. Instead, it was Rahman and Sanders who almost pulled that off. Corrie Sanders threw 70 punches around in the first 2 rounds of this fight. In the last round, by CompuBox numbers, he threw 38. So Sanders has lost his activity level and is now just looking for a one-punch knockout of Rahman. Harold, how do you have it through 4?
Okay, Jim, interesting scoring. Actually, in rounds 2 on 1, Corrie Sanders, but in points, it's all even. The first 2 rounds, like you said, Corrie Sanders wins 10-9. The third round, they each scored a knockdown. You really have to score it even, 10-10. And the fourth round, Brock wins 10-8 because of the clean knockdown. 38-38, even.
I think Rahman's got a chance to win a boxing match if he can pull his act together and just go from here working with the right hand.
Well, it's clear that Sanders is trying to get his second or third win here, and Rahman doesn't seem capable of putting the pressure on him.
At this stage right here, Rahman should really step up the pressure a lot more.
How do you explain what Rahman did in the last 2 minutes of the preceding round and here?
Well, basically, it's a gambling fight the way they're fighting. They're both just gambling. One is shooting the right hand lead, and the other is waiting to counter punch over the right. But if you notice, Sanders threw a few pesky right jabs that seemed to have been effective, but if he doesn't continue to do that, Rahman is going to keep walking straight into him. He needs to keep working his right jab a little bit more to keep him at a distance right there and to set him up for his left. But Rahman seems to have gotten his confidence back together, seems to be very comfortable in the setting right now. But what bothers me is the fact that he's doing the same thing over and over, strictly trying to throw a right hand.
Round 5 is a totally arm-weary round for both fighters. Neither man has landed anything of significance here. Pesky jabs, as you called them, Emmanuel. The best that Corrie Sanders can offer. He's waiting for Rahman to throw another right hand, getting ready to drop the left on him, and Rahman's looking for the spot to throw the right hand. Round 1's action, and for the moment, they're not going to get it.
A fan who boos this fight ought to be throttled. They've earned a break.
That was a good jab by Rahman.
Well, call it the 5th inning stretch, if you like. Tune in July 17 as HBO Sports presents our next Sports of the 20th Century documentary, When It Was a Game 3. Once again in our award-winning series, viewers will be taken back to an era when fans had special bonds with their heroes. The 1960s were a time of turbulent change, but throughout the decade, names like Clemente, Gibson, Mays, Mantle, and Aaron still meant greatness when it was a Game 3 with its exclusive home movies premiering in July on HBO.
You're doing this now. Back him up, feed him back. And look, every time something ain't right, put the hands up.
I breathe in good, man.
He's loafing the wall, Hasim. That's just... Don't let him move. You make me get this grease now. Don't move. All right. You're tight on it. Let's go.
Round 5, totally unlike any of its predecessors. All of the 4 preceding rounds dominated by power punches. In round 5, Rahman threw 21 jabs and landed 8. And Sanders also connected on 9 jabs. So both fighters got whatever offense they got in the 5th round from the jab, and it was precious little. Let's see who gets the second win first.
Both guys seem to be mentally alert, though, and seem to be trying to sort things out, so to say. I think the jab is becoming more of a factor as the fight is moving on. And once again, maybe they're rested up, they're ready to resume where they left off a couple of rounds ago.
Rahman lands a straight left hand. Sanders looks fresh enough to counter with the left. Rahman is more effective when they get inside. And this time Sanders takes the right hand lead, flush on the jaw.
Sanders got a pretty good, he's been hit with some good right hand. I think the knockdowns when he got knocked down was mainly when he was in the process of punching and wasn't expecting punches at the time. But he seemed to have a pretty good chin. But the fight is up for grabs. Whoever could mount a good aggressive attack, particularly behind a jab right now, could take control of the fight. Same again.
Another counter left hand by Sanders. Sanders getting more and more pesky with that jab now, trying to set up his left hand, and he lands 2 more left crosses on Rahman. Misses the 3rd.
Sanders has a tendency to get square with his balance once he gets into an exchange.
Go to which corner? Whose mouth? You got the mouthpiece?
Hasim Rahman losing the mouthpiece. It's right in front of New Jersey State Athletic Commission Chairman Larry Hazard.
Sanders lost.
Sanders' mouthpiece, yeah, okay.
Rahman has one of those clear mouthpieces, which looks like it's nothing in his mouth, but it's a clear mouthpiece.
You heard Eddie Cotton asking Rahman if it was his mouthpiece, and you're right. Turns out to be Sanders' mouthpiece instead.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Going to the body with the right hand. I like that idea. This fight, incidentally, is scheduled for 12 rounds because Corrie Sanders owns an off-brand heavyweight title belt.
Let's go. Get out.
It's not even an off-brand. It's not even an off-brand. Hard right hand by Rahman. Sanders is taking that punch now.
Stop punching. Stop punching. Step back.
Both guys, strange enough, seem to have rejuvenated themselves, at least mentally. I'm looking at both of them guys. They seem to be very clear. They're very much aware of everything that's going on.
Stop punching.
And the biggest problem I see that Sanders has is his balance. After he throws a punch, he often finds himself squared with his feet, so therefore he gets knocked down very easily.
I don't see his hand speed anymore, man.
No more hand speed. But nevertheless, the pesky jabber here are still beginning to be a big factor, particularly if he keeps it up.
That was a big round for Rahman. And still to come, the other heavyweight battle, the one we thought would really provide the fireworks, and maybe it will. Derek Jefferson against Oleg Maskaev. Maskaev, last November, was trailing Rahman on all cards when he knocked him through the ropes here in Atlantic City.
Yeah, spin around, tuck it in deep. Get your hands down, Rock. Relax, baby. He's running from you, Rock. Can't you see it? Press it, look, left foot. Keep backing back with the hands up. Do like this. You can't get nothing. And you jam.
All right. Just step it up a notch.
All right, there you see in the back of the arena here is Corrie Sanders' wife, their 3-year-old daughter, who is celebrating her 3rd birthday tonight. A few rounds ago, they were sitting ringside, but Mrs. Sanders decided that this may not be the kind of thing her daughter would want to see.
Good choice. Interesting fight halfway through. Harold Letterman's card even. CompuBox numbers fairly even. Sanders 110 out of 302. Rahman 113 out of 277. Rahman landing slightly fewer power punches. Sanders uses the jab more than Rahman does.
When they both exchange their power punches at the same time, meaning Rahman throws a right hand, Sanders throws a left, Rahman seems to have the advantage. He seems to get his right hand in a little bit faster. But when Sanders is effective is after he lets Rahman miss. But when they shoot at the same time, Rahman seems to come in a little bit better. His punch seems to be a little bit more to the inside. But the big difference would be still if Rahman would use his left jab a lot more.
Sanders also seems to be strictly a head puncher.
That's correct.
He doesn't work to the body at all.
Doesn't punch to the body at all.
And Oleg Maskaev was saying to us yesterday that he felt the importance of working in American gyms was that you learn the left hook and you learn to use body punches.
And you learn to use body punches. In most of the countries, even though South Africa is not Europe, they still primarily concentrate on head punches.
Straight right hand by Rahman, right on the button. And a right, and a left, and a big rally. And Sanders tries to hold on. And Rahman just pounding away. Sanders covering up. Rahman just punching. Eddie Cotton looking in.
What's Sanders?
Eddie Cotton's going to stop it. Corrie Sanders not defending himself.
And that's
Hasim Rahman punches him right out of the division.
Punched him right out. He should have grabbed the man and tied him up. When you're hurt like that, grab the thing that's punching and beating you up. Grab the arms and tie the arms up.
Well, but he was hit by about 15 to 17 straight punches.
Unanswered.
And early on, he seemed dazed, just trying to survive the onslaught, but not doing anything to get out of the way.
Well, the referee had no choice. When you're getting hit that much and you're not returning any punches, he has to stop the fight.
Gentlemen, it appeared that once Corrie Sanders was unable to get the early knockout against Hasim Rahman, it became a matter of time and whether Rahman would destroy himself or take advantage of the opportunity in front of him. Instead, he took advantage.
He took advantage of it, and in fact, he fought as if he wanted to win a little bit more than Sanders going down the stretch. The fight was up in there.
33 wins now against only 2 losses for Rahman. He takes a big step toward reviving his status as a contender in the division. And Corrie Sanders, in all likelihood, will go back to South Africa without ever getting a shot at one of the top heavyweights of his time, Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield. Sanders will console himself with having won a minor league title and having had a big record, particularly when fighting at home in South Africa. And here's another replay, and Emmanuel, Sanders just never tried to hold on.
No, he never tried to hold on. You know, and when you're hurt like that, you can't see punches that good. The best thing to do is to grab the guy and grab the arms that's beating on you. But in his case, probably not experienced at being hurt like that before. He didn't know what to do because originally he wasn't hurt to the degree where he could not have survived properly. But right now, at this point in time, when you're hurt like that, even punches that's landing on the side of your head on the gloves, they still vibrate through and they cause a lot of damage.
Sanders' only previous loss was a knockout by Nate Tubbs way back in 1994. It's been 6 years since he lost a fight. Almost 6 years to the day, in fact, because that was May 21 of 94. This loss probably seals his fate as a marginal heavyweight contender who was discussed in relation to a lot of big fights and written about in relation to a lot of big fights through the 90s, but never really got there.
Yes, well, I think right now at this point in time in his career, he'll have to be resigned to the fact that he was a WBU champion and have to accept that, and that's going to be his biggest claim to fame.
And maybe he can get that handicap back down to 2. There's his wife and daughter. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, Part 1 of the Cedric Kushner heavyweight explosion on HBO Boxing After Dark comes to an end at 1 minute, 50 seconds of round number 7. the winner by knockout victory and new WBU World Heavyweight Champion, Hasim "The Rock" Rahman.
Right now. Right over the wall. Come on behind you. Come on. What happened to that?
Final punch stat numbers. Hasim Rahman said that if he couldn't beat Corrie Sanders, he would give up trying to become heavyweight champion of the world. So Rahman will continue his pursuit of a potential title, landing 150 total punches to 118 for Sanders, throwing more, connecting at a higher percentage, rallying in the last couple of rounds of the fight, and eventually putting Sanders away after Sanders seemingly totally ran out of petrol. And power punches, as I said, Sanders is the only man who threw jabs, and Rahman landed 37 punches to only 8 for Sanders in that last round, so the numbers bulged as the result of the Rahman rally. Larry Merchant standing by with the winner.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Rock.
Thank you, Mr. Merchant.
You had a rocky beginning to this fight. How did you fight your way out of it?
Oh, that's smooth sailing from the end of my last fight. What are you talking about, Rocky? First of all, I'd like to say Allahu Akbar. God is the greatest. No, there's no strength, no power except with God. And God gave me the strength to do that. And I love you, Hasim Jr. and Sharif in the mirror. All right, go ahead.
All right. You said before the fight that if you couldn't beat Corrie Sanders, it meant you would never put on the gloves again.
Absolutely meant it.
And was that the intense motivation you had in there, even while you were getting strafed by him in the first couple of rounds?
I felt like I was giving as good as I was taking. He would land one, but he wasn't landing combinations. You understand? Because I kept my head moving a little better. And I would also stun him occasionally with a good shot and make him back up and retreat. The man comes all the way over here. He talked trash to me yesterday at the glove meeting, telling me he's the champion. I wear what gloves he wear. And, you know, he made it a little personal, a little more personal than it had to be. So he had to get dealt with.
So we will see you again in the ring.
Well, most definitely, I'd like to fight the winner of this next upcoming fight. I'm Jared Jefferson, my man, but if he give it a Maskaev, me and Jefferson got to get it on.
All right, thank you very much.
Make that fight, man.
Congratulations, Rock. I wish I had the power to do so. Jim.